Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how you can get clients for your agency even in bear market. I am Talha, co-founder of Nalikes.com. We are a Web3 development agency and I've scaled my agency from $0 to $1 million in annual recurring revenue over the past 5 years. And in this video I'm going to share with you everything that I have learned. Yesterday I was having a conversation with an agency owner in the space, in the crypto space, and he asked me a question that how are you getting clients? And I told him that we are getting clients normally how we do, even in bull market. And he said something that made me think a lot, and that's why I'm creating this video. He told me that the market is dead and there are no more projects or clients he can get. When he said that, it made me think that on one hand, it was me who was still closing deals regardless of the market condition, and there were him and there were a couple of others that I spoke to had the same issue. So it made me think, like, what is the reason that some agency owners are able to close deal regardless of market condition and some struggle regardless of market condition. So this video is an attempt to share with you everything that I know which you can start applying today to your agency and achieve the same results. So the first thing that I noticed and the first thing that I have known after working, in this industry, that or any industry regardless, the problem is not the market, the problem is mindset. People have a very limited, mindset. People have a very scarce mindset, right? And that is not how you can survive in this space or generally any space or any business, right? As a business owner, you have to have a very abundant mindset. You need to be very resourceful. And no matter what kind of challenge comes in front of you, you have to keep going. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense for you to run an agency. It's better you can just use your skill and go do a job for someone, and that might be better for you. Because if you have decided that you want to make money by building an agency and providing services to other, then it makes sense that you take on these challenges. So the first thing that anyone who is struggling to find clients in this industry, in any industry, is you need to change your mindset. There is a very interesting framework that I use by Tony Robbins. It's called the success cycle. So this is the framework that I've used all my life ever since I got familiar with it. But basically what it says is that most people start with action whenever they want to do something, and they end up not achieving the results. On the other hand, the successful people, they start with belief, which means that before you have done any action or before you have taken any step, you start with a lot of belief that no matter what happens, I am going to achieve whatever target I set. And then what happens with that amount of belief, you're able to tap into the potential that you have. And that potential allows you to take massive, massive, massive action. So for example, that if you say, I need to close a client, and you start by taking action, you might reach to 10, 20, 30 people, right? But on the other hand, if you start with a lot of belief, you'll reach out to hundreds of thousands of people, right? And then when you take a lot of action, what will happen is that you will get results. And when you get better results, your belief will increase, right? When you close a deal, when you get a client, and so on. So that beliefs even fuel your potential further. You take more action and you get better results. And then, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, or it becomes a success cycle. So that's the first thing that I would advise to any agency owner that is struggling to get clients, is that take some time and work on your mindset. Because if you don't work on your mindset, it will be very difficult for you to operate or stay in the business game, right? If you don't have what it takes, then a job might be a better option for you. But yeah, so that's the first thing that people need to do. And the people who told me yesterday that there are no clients or the market is dead, I told them the same thing, that the problem is mindset. So first things first is fix your mindset. Is that no matter what challenges come or whatever the circumstances are, I am going to do whatever I need to do. So after mindset, there are a couple of other things, right? See, it doesn't happen that when the market crashes and everyone, goes out of the market. Yes, to some extent it's true. VCs are not funding projects more. People are thinking before spending money, and so on. So those are facts, and those cannot be ignored. But on the other hand, but that does not mean that VCs do not have money. That does not mean that people do not have money. Everyone has money, but they are just waiting on the sideline, which means that you need to put more effort or more uh, you need to put more effort into convincing people or proving your value and so on, right? So that's the second thing you need to clear in your head if you don't already have that. When there is a bear market, it doesn't happen that people just go away. It's just that their behavior changes, right? And so, for example, in our case, we build products. So in a bull market, everyone is getting funded and everyone is building product out of their own money or VC money. But still, even in bear market, there are projects that are getting funded by VCs, and there are people who are building products from their own personal funding for the next market when it comes on. So that's the second thing. One more thing that you need to keep in mind is that bear market is equal to less competition, which means that most of the people have given up, like the people who are running businesses or running agencies or providing any kind of service, they have given up, right? Because again, they have a big mindset problem, and they're not playing the long-term game. They are in it for quick money. So when there is a bear market, you should be more motivated that now there are fewer service providers, there are fewer freelancers, there are fewer agencies providing the service that you're providing. So it means that you have chance to establish yourself as someone who can deliver work, right? So the first segment of this video was mainly around mindset, and the summary of that is that whatever you're trying to do in life, you need to first of all fix your mindset. And once you fix your mindset, everything becomes easier from there, right? So fix your mindset. Bear market means less competition, and the third thing is that people are still looking for service providers and agencies. It's just that you have to put more effort in order to get in front of them, right? So after mindset, the second thing that I want to talk about is offer, right? Now, the thing is, once you have fixed your mindset and you're like, okay, Talha, now I've fixed my mindset. How do I still get clients? You also need to put in some work in fixing your offer, right? Offer means like whatever you're trying to sell, right? If you're a marketing agency or a development agency, or whatever kind of service you're providing, you always need to think about your offer as well. Because if your offer, which was relevant 4 years ago, and you're still trying to sell that service, chances are you will not be able to convince client, right? So for example, in our case, we used to build websites back in the day for NFT projects, but today you can do that with one single prompt. So if I try to sell that landing page or website design service to clients and I'm not able to get clients, is it fair or just or true for me to say that the market is dead? Right? No, the market is not dead. It's just that what I'm trying to sell, there isn't any demand for it, right? So that's one thing. Look at your offer, think like, is it working? Do people still need it? In our case, we realized that the basic web dev work that we do is gone. One, because of the market, yes, but second, the AI tools are getting so good that there isn't a need for a specific individual or a company to build websites, right? The people who really want to build websites, they can build it by themselves by using one of the tools that exist out there. So we realized that we should capitalize on our strength and the knowledge that we have of custom smart contracts or custom protocols or custom apps, which have multiple parts that no one tool can do, right? So that's how we were able to keep our offer relevant even in this bear market. And that is what people need, right? So if I go and approach someone and tell them that I will build for you an NFT marketplace, they will not show interest. But if I go and tell them I'm going to build for you a DEX, or I'm going to build for your trading platform, or if I'm going to build for you an ICP launchpad like Believe or something, right? These are the relevant platform. This is what people are using. Or if I tell someone I'm going to build an AI platform for you. So you need to keep updating your offer and adjusting it based on what market wants, and not stick to one, right? With every if you haven't updated your offer from a very long time, you need to update it and test different offers, test what people are looking for, and adjust, right? you don't have to change your entire business model. You just have to change what you're offering. In our case, we went from basic web dev work to custom products or custom smart contracts that AI tools cannot do, and still there is a demand. Like even if on one chain people are not building, we will offer a new chain and so on. So you need to keep changing, and I hope this gives you enough idea. Now, this in itself is a very big topic, which I'll not be able to cover in this video, but I'll go over a couple of points which should be, able to give you some idea. So how do I get clients for my agency? I've been creating content around it. One of the ways that we get clients is cold outreach. Straightforward. We use different platforms like Telegram, Twitter, LinkedIn. We have automated it, so which means that we are using tools with which we're able to reach out to thousands of people on daily basis, right? And even in bear market, I increase my volume, right? So for example, if you want to start doing outreach on Telegram, I mean, you want to keep doing outreach on Telegram. The process is same across all platforms, right? So I've created a detailed video on my YouTube channel. You can go search on YouTube, or I'll try to add a link in the comment or in the description. But if you watch that video will give you enough insights on how you can create your own process. But the way is very simple, right? So you have defined your offer, like whatever you're trying to sell. Then you ask yourself, who is the individual or project that will need your service? That's called ICP. So you define that, and then you start finding them across social platforms. So you can find the founders on Telegram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and then you manually approach them with the message, something like, "Hey, I don't know, like I cannot create scripts on the go, but I've created a detailed video on that." But basically, what you're trying to do is you approach someone out of nowhere with value first, and your goal is to start a conversation, right? And then once you start a conversation, you can do that. So in our case, the way we do it, and we experiment with a lot of different scripts, but one of the scripts that got results was that because one thing we realized that most of the companies that we're reaching out to, they already have an in-house dev team, so they don't really need our services. But the way we approached them was that, hey, Jack, Talha here from Nalikes.com. I was wondering if Nalikes Studio and your company can be friends. I know that you guys have in-house developers, so you're not looking for outsourcing, but from time to time you might have needs that you need to achieve in short amount of time. For that, we can come in really fast and deliver it at very easily. So this type of message gets the founder interested, because they'll be like, yeah, we do have some products that we need to build quickly. Sometimes for that we do not need to hire for long term. It doesn't hurt to talk to this agency, right? They'll say sure. So, and then from there I'll get on a call, and on the call, it's my goal is to just build a relation, right? Because if you're trying to sell it, in the first call, it's very difficult. What you have to do is you just have to build relation, right? Talk to them how you would talk to them in real life, right? Try to learn more about their pain points, try to learn about their problems, try to learn what have they done, and then you're trying, I've basically written in detail about this, like how to do discovery calls. But your goal is to identify that, can you help him? Can you help this individual that is in front of you by asking questions? And once you have identified, then you start giving free value. You tell them how exactly you will help them, because if you give free value, they'll be like, oh sure. So I just had a call 2 days ago or yesterday, where there was a client who needed design work, and they were not sure to work with us. So I was like, I understood. I asked them questions that, how long have they been working on this product, how they are funding it, what is their goal, do they want to generate revenue, or they want to sell their company, and a couple of other questions that I asked. After asking those questions, I told them that we can add, 2 designers to your team for X amount per month, and they started thinking. On spot, when I realized that they're not too sure about the cost, and for them, the price was not an issue because they were funded. For them, the issue was trust and quality. So at the same time, I offered to work for them for 1 week for free, and if in 1 week they like our work, I will, we can move on to a retainer. And if they don't like their work, it's fine. They can, we can part ways. That on spot free value was what convinced him. And now, we're about to do their free work. And I'm 100% confident that once we do their free work, we'll do it with such great quality that they will continue with us, right? Because But you cannot. You have to be smart about these kinds of offer, because if I would have offered that service to someone who has no money, I would have ended up broke. I would have ended up in a loss. But I knew that they have money, so they just wanted to clarify that if we can help them or not, right? All right. So once you have your offer, your script, your ICP, you've started reaching out to people. You have to test this different script, and you have to keep doing it. See, I talked about this in my other video as well. When people start doing cold outreach, it's again the mindset problem. Is they are very skeptical that whether this will work or not. They don't want to pay consultants. They don't want to pay to agencies. They don't want to pay using tools. But if you want to grow your business, if you're not willing to invest in your business growth, then are you really building a business? I was in this position as well, where I was very skeptical in hiring consultants, or I was very skeptical in buying expensive tools. But I was, but there were some bad experiences. But oftentimes I ended up, walking with something good. So be open to spending on your business, because that's how you will earn from your business as well. So once you're doing this cold outreach manually, then you can automate it at scale. So I'm going to quickly go over on Telegram. You can use this tool called enreach.ai. It's a tool that our companies are using. It's simple. The pricing is there are different pricing, but the minimum starts at $250. So what I would suggest that you do it manually in the beginning, and the $250 investment is worth it if you have figured out your script, if you have figured out your ICP, and you just want volume. Then enreach.ai is a good idea to spend on. And again, you can spend for 1 month. If it doesn't work out, you can cancel it. But in my experience, I even created a separate video on that. Telegram has been the best performing platform for us. And because the thing is that on Twitter, on LinkedIn, or email, all the messages go up into the request folder or the spam folder. Telegram and WhatsApp are the only platforms where it directly pings the other person. I personally haven't figured out WhatsApp yet, but I will, and then I'll make a video about it. But Telegram, I have figured out, and I've created a detailed video on it. So that's how you do in Telegram. So for Telegram, you can use this platform, enreach.ai. And for Twitter, you can use drippy.ai or Inbox app. Their pricing is also reasonable. But again, you have to invest to get it. So one is inboxapp.com, and the other one is drippy.ai. And for LinkedIn, there are a couple of tools. Personally, I use a tool called Valexy. I don't know what's the spelling. Yeah. And again, there are so many tools out there. The idea is to just pick one tool, start, test it, and see if it works for you. And from there, you move on to the next one. For email as well, there are other platforms like Instantly. You can use this. And there are so many other, like Smart Lead and so on, right? The whole idea of me showing you these tools is that chances are most of you might be aware of these tools. Good for you. But I'm creating this video for the people who don't have any idea that these things can be done, right? And this is not necessarily for getting clients. If you are a business developer in crypto and your KPIs are getting partnerships, you can use these tools, right? So if you're reaching out to 10 people manually, imagine with these tools, you can reach out to thousands of people daily. And again, on Discord as well, you can do Telegram outreach. We got a really big crypto project directly doing it from Discord, but it's very manual, so which means that you have to go into each server, verify yourself, create a ticket, send a message, keep following up, and then going through thousands of servers. It's just, a hustle. But if you are willing to do that, that is also a possibility, and we did that in the beginning. One thing that will happen is that once you start doing cold outreach, you will realize which channels work best for you, which channels do you enjoy the most, and which channel your ICP is on, and so on, right? So in the beginning, you can test out both, but eventually you will finalize on one or two. In our case, it's Telegram and Twitter. That's what we have finalized on. But from time to time, we use all these platforms when we want to scale or not. Because see, if you're reaching out to 10,000 people daily or 100,000 people monthly, it's not possible that you will not get a reply. And once you get a reply, I mean, you will have enough skill to get someone on a call. And once you are on a call, you will be able to sell, right? So it's all about volume, right? And again, this goes back to the first thing that I explained. It's mindset. There are other ways as well with which you can get in front of people. There's content and other ways like ads and so on. But if you don't have any clients, then I would recommend you start with cold outreach. All these things come later. Right. There are a couple of other points that I want to touch that can help you. Is that, let's say you have successfully convinced someone to get on a call. What do you do on a call? Once you're on a call with someone, and the thing is, you will not have success in your first call. You need to put in at least 100 calls or 50 calls before you even think of closing a deal, right? Because once you have gone through 50 calls, you will have realized or learned so many things that you will not be able to do it in first call, right? So in the beginning, if you're getting on call and if you are the one as a founder who's closing, you just need to get the reps in, right? Just like in the gym, the first 100 reps exercise, just like in the gym, the first couple of hundred reps are not going to build muscles. The first 100 kicks in the playground will not help you perfect your free kick. Similarly, the first 100 calls, or similarly, the first 100 songs that you make, or the first 100 articles that you write, or the first 100 videos that you make, uh, similarly, the first 100 sales call are not going to be good. You are going to suck at it. And then that's completely fine. Just like I'm creating these videos, I know some of these videos will suck and I'm completely fine with it, right? But I know that after the 100 video, I will be better. So that's the second thing. The second thing you can do is obviously listen a lot. I recommend a really good book, which is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I mean, there are so many books, but this specific book has helped me a lot, and I highly recommend if you're, running a business or doing anything, this book will give you so many insights. One of the lessons from that book was that uh, let the other person do a great deal of talking, right? So once you're on a call with someone and you know that this person is an ICP, and you've qualified them, which means that they need your service and they can pay you, let them do a great deal of talking, right? Oftentimes, when you let the other person do a great deal of talking, they will start to like you and then they will buy from you, right? First thing is you need to make sure you put 100 calls in. Second is let the other person do a great deal of talking. Third is, instead of selling, ask questions. You can, I mean, I can create a detailed video on this and how to run discovery calls, but the idea is simple, right? Let the other person do a great deal of talking. You ask questions, genuine questions with which you can understand that if you can help them or not. And once you have all the questions, give them free value. Tell them, if you cannot help them, I would advise you be upfront with them and you tell them, no, I cannot help you, just so you are desperate for money or you need to achieve a certain amount in that month. Don't try to close a deal because it will hurt you in the long term. It has happened so many times where I could have taken on a project, but I knew I could not help them. So what I did was that I gave them free value and I connected them with someone else. And then they came back to me for it, right? Because that action of telling them that you cannot help you takes courage, it takes honesty, it takes commitment that, okay, he's not after my money. And yeah, but if you can help them, give them free value, right? Educate them how you can help them. And then once you are done with the call, make sure you book the second call on that call itself. If you need to send a proposal, I don't know, like every company has a different process, but in our case, we do the first call. And in that call, we are able to get the basic information, and then we go and do some research, and then we book another call on the same call, and in that call we go really deep dive into technical details about the product, and then we send a proposal. Oftentimes that proposal would require another call, but most of the time the proposal is so clear that the next thing the clients ask about is invoice, right? Once you have closed the client, you need to make sure you do a really good work. One thing I made mistake in the beginning was that I was so obsessed at scaling the company that once I got a client, I didn't really take the time to serve them well, and I was just focusing on the next one. I had my partners and my delivery team who took care of that, but some clients, you need to provide a really good service in the beginning to some clients, especially if you're a freelancer, if you're a small scale agency. You need to do really great work, which means that you need to be personally involved in the beginning and make sure that the client work gets done faster. Because In our case, what we do is that we do a fixed scope project and then we move to a retainer project. So it's really important that when we're working on the fixed scope project, we reply to clients on fast. Like one thing that you can do starting today is that for your existing clients is as soon as they text, reply them immediately and tell them that these are the working hours, and you will see that they will start liking you. That's one thing, right? So communication. The second is over communicate, like send them daily updates. Like normally what we did in the beginning was that after every working day ended, we send them a detail even though they didn't ask for it. Then in the beginning we used to do daily, then we did weekly, and then we did monthly, and then we did weekly calls. I mean, we experimented with a lot of approach, but the idea was that you need, in order to build trust, you need to communicate and so on. Once you have done that, obviously, if you do really good work, they will send more clients. You can ask for testimonials and so on. So most of the things that I have said in this video might be the things that you already know. But the reality is that someone who is doing $10,000 per month and someone who is doing $1 million a year, their agency are almost the same. It's just the little things that matter. It's the mindset, it's the outreach, it's the closing deals, and it's the delivery. So yeah, I hope this was helpful for you. I tried to cover a lot of things, and I hope this video helps a lot of people. Again, nothing is impossible. There are people out there who have the money, who are looking for the services that you are skilled at. You just need to reach out to them and convince them by proving them that you are capable, and yeah, they will pay you. Thank you so much for watching, and if you guys need help with any of the things that I've discussed in the video, feel free to send me a DM. I'll be more than happy to guide you. All right.